Hello, 6th graders. This is Skill Builder 4, and today you will need your worksheet with Rotten Candy and the Inventors Workshop. So we'll start with Rotten Candy. These are two kind of Halloween-themed melodies that hopefully you enjoy learning, and they're fun to play for you. So hopefully when you go trick-or-treating you don't get any rotten candy, but if you do, I guess you can go back to those people's home and play this tune for them, and maybe they would enjoy it. So I'm looking through this, and most of the stuff in this piece of music is familiar to us. There shouldn't be anything super challenging. It is in the time signature of 3/4. That's something we've been working on in class, and most of you have been doing very well with. So just note that there are only 3 beats in every measure. I also am looking through the notes. These are pretty easy notes for us to read. G's, E's, D's. The one that might get you is the very last note. If you're a violin, viola, cello, that's your open G string. So I know you don't read that note very often, but that's what that note is when you get there. The thing that I think might trip us up a little bit are the dynamics and these guys, the accents. We've talked about these before, but not really in depth, so I'm going to go over those. But we're going to start by talking about dynamics and what you can do to change your dynamics. We've gone over this in class, but I think this is a good thing to review. It takes some time to really understand and practice this skill. So let me grab my violin. When we're talking about changing your dynamic or changing your volume, there are 2 things that we're going to cover that you can do to change your volume. There's other things that we can address later as you've been playing longer, but for right now, I'm just going to talk about 2. So the first one has to do with the pressure that you put on the bow. So if you have a beautiful bow hold, you should be able to put more or less pressure by turning your hand and having your index finger put a little bit of weight on the bow. You can see how my stick is closer to touching the hair of my bow when I have pressure on the bow, and then when I release it, it separates a little bit more. And so you have the power in that index finger to have more or less pressure on the string. Now obviously the more pressure you put on the string, the louder it's going to be. But that can't be the only thing that decides how loud you are, because if I just press really hard on the string, it sounds like a perfect Halloween sound, but other than that, we don't want to be making that sound effect. And so there's another thing that you can do to help your dynamics or your volume, and that is the speed at which you move your bow. So if I move my bow slowly, it's obviously going to sound quieter than if I move my bow really fast. I didn't change the amount of pressure I put on the bow, that was just a speed thing. And so when we are playing loud, we're going to want to make sure we're putting a lot of pressure on the bow and moving it fast. And when we're playing soft, we're going to put less pressure and move it slow. So those are the 2 things, and it takes a little bit of time to get the balance correct of exactly how much pressure and how fast, but as you're experimenting with that, know that those are the 2 factors you should be changing. So you can see we go from mezzo forte to piano to mezzo forte to piano, and then a big crescendo to forte at the end. So we get a chance to go back and forth between those dynamics quite a bit in Rotten Candy. The other thing is you have some notes with accents. Now an accent is a note with a little bit of an extra oomph on the front end of it, so you're going to put a little bit of extra pressure and move that bow really fast. So you can see in the first measure that you play, the first note G is accented and then the next 2 are not. So the first one should sound different. This is what that first measure will sound like. You can see that first note had just a little bit of a punch at the beginning of it. And so that happens several times throughout Rotten Candy where the first note of every measure has an accent. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start at measure 5 where we start playing. We're going to read the notes just to make sure we're all good with these, and then I will play it for you. So read the notes with me at home so you can get your practice in. Here we go. G, 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 E, 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 D, 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 G, E, E, D, G, 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 E, 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 D, 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 G, E, E, D, 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 G. Rest, rest. Let's play it. If you need to put fingers down for G, make sure those are down. We're starting mezzo forte, so medium loud, pretty loud, right? Other than the last note, this is the loudest you're going to be in this piece of music. So we're getting ready to accent that first note. 1, 2, 3, ready, here we go. Alright, that's Rotten Candy. Go ahead and flip to the Inventors Workshop. We're going to do a similar thing, look through what's going on in the Inventors Workshop, talk about anything new, and then I'm actually going to leave you to read the notes on your own and see if you can figure out how to play this by yourself. I will play it for you, but we're not going to do the reading notes together. So again, this one is in the time signature of 3/4. We're getting a lot of practice in 3/4. There are dynamics in this, just like in the last one. As I'm looking through at the notes, there are some additional notes to what the last one had. So there's F sharps, E's, G's, A's, and I believe that's it. So just those 4 notes. There's also some dynamic changes, so we're going to have to practice the pressure and speed of our bow, the thing that we just talked about with Rotten Candy. There are a lot of multi-measure rests in this, where you rest for 3 measures at a time. This is a good thing to practice being able to sit there and count 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, now you play, right? We've seen that in orchestra. There's times where you might be unsure about when you come in. And so being able to count your rests and know when to come in is just as important of a skill as knowing the rhythm and notes of the music when you play. You can also see at measure 25 over your A, it says P-I-Z-Z. That means pizzicato. So at this section, instead of using your bow, you're going to play pizzicato. You're going to pluck. Back at measure 37, it says arco, A-R-C-O. That means to use your bow. So from measure 25 to 37, you're going to pluck, and then starting at 37, you'll use your bow again. You see this all the time in orchestra music, so it's a good thing to be aware of. Now, when you pluck in the middle of a piece of music, you do not put your bow down. I'm going to ask you this when we're in class, see who really paid attention and knows this skill. The bow does not go down on the music stand. Instead, you keep your instrument up. You have your bow in a very bad bow hold. This is not the way I taught you to hold your bow, and I never want you to hold it like this unless you're doing pizzicato. You make your pizzicato L, and then you can go from there. Okay, so bad bow hold and L. You don't want to keep your nice bow hold. That's going to be too hard to pluck, and you don't want to put your bow down. So we're going to go to bad bow hold with an L, and then you can do your plucking, and then switch right back to it really quick when it's time to play with the bow at 37. You actually have 3 measures of rest to get there, so this is a little bit easier for you the first time you're doing this. So I'm going to play the Inventors Workshop, starting at measure 5 where you come in. I will count all of the other rests, and I will make sure I do it with the dynamics. So here I go. 1, 2, 3, ready, here we go. 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. So, like I said at the beginning, these are great tunes that you could learn before Halloween and then maybe play them for your family. This would be a cool thing to show them what you've been learning in class. There are some play-along tracks to these. I will put them in the Google Classroom. We may try to do them in class, although it's hard with a large group to do that, but there's something there for you if you'd like to have an extra challenge and play with the play-along tracks. So have a great day, everyone. I will see you in class and have fun playing these.